Lisa Novak, Friday morning frenzy.
We've got Mark Novak out on the streets by the looks of it.
On the streets of Bronte.
What? My
Bronte,
goodness.
where they've been seeing some incredible property. I was just talking with a mate of mine. One property went from 6 2 years ago to 12, and I said, "Can you believe, like, in the middle of 2 years of COVID, that a property value can double in 2 years?" But yeah, Bronte.
Wow, it is. It's been a crazy suburb. All of those beachside suburbs, Mark, they've been kind to people. Bronte, Bondi, DY, Freshwater, a lot of they're all up the north coast, all down the south coast. They've all been very kind to people.
And even I
Yeah,
was having a
crazy.
chat with him, like in this Bronte area for a house, $10 million. It's like 10 million. And he's like, "That's 10 million. That's 10 million." I'm like, "What?"
Wow, that's a huge amount of money. That's nuts, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
I'm,
So,
I'm in the
guys,
I'm in the
Friday,
graveyard. The graveyard's just here.
and they're still getting 10 mil looking onto the graveyard. Unbelievable.
Friday
Unbelievable.
frenzy.
So this morning, Mark, Friday Frenzy, guys, for those of you that join us on a Friday, you'll get Mark and myself, and we just talk about everything, whatever, all topics. It's just a scrambled up mix of what's been going on in the week in our lives and whatever you guys want to hear us talk about. My God, it's been a busy week, Mark.
Well, I reckon the
Oh my
busiest
God.
week in 52 weeks. This week has been the busiest week.
Yeah,
She got
honestly,
incredible.
Oh, isn't that cute? But I literally, have not had 2 minutes to scratch myself with, a crazy week of appraisals and sales. And this is such a turbulent market. I'm speaking with clients often who are saying, "What's the market doing at the moment, Lisa?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's all over the shop." 1 week you're like, "Oh, hang on a sec. We're really, the market's really starting to quieten down." But not this week. This week it's been crazy. It's been a big listing and selling week as well. It's been a very, very interesting week.
Unbelievable. So this year, who knows? I still don't you just don't
Can't
know.
predict it,
Interest
no.
rate, right? It's just unpredictable. And then you watch the news
You
like last night, and it's like COVID's coming again. It's like far out.
don't watch the news.
Hey, Lisa,
Don't watch the news.
this morning wanted to also chat a little bit about people don't like robots. You were saying that some people love automation, but consumers don't like automation. People hate robots.
Yeah. So I get asked a lot about social media, and I know we do as well, Mark, collectively as a company.
Yeah.
Who do you outsource to do your social media? We do it all ourselves. And there's good reason for that. So for anyone that, as an example, follows my socials, that's me. I'm uploading everything and I'm responding to every single one of those inquiries. It's me. It's not a robot. It's not someone sitting in the Philippines doing it. There's a huge amount of magic to that. I think we can often, and as you said, Mark, for the actual person that's doing it, for me, it'd be so much easier if it would be, I could get a robot to do it, but it doesn't have the same magic to it. I think a huge part of the magic is not having a robot. When you call up and the other end of the line answers and it's someone in the Philippines with an American accent, you're like, am I speaking to, automatically you're thinking, I'm not going to get the answer I want.
No.
It's going to be a frustrating experience. What are your
So,
thoughts on that? On something that's more automated, Mr. Technology?
what I'm finding is with all this automation, there's SMS technology, there's email technology, there's chat group technology, there's all this technology that we implement and that is out there. I find that if the technology can fragmentally or take a proportion or 5% of your work and do it for you, that's an efficiency. But if they're trying to do 20, 50% of that workload, it becomes very obvious to the consumer. It's not very personal to the consumer, and that's where you fall down. So I think, this technology, this robot automation AI that we're doing, it's really got to be a small piece of what we do. It can't, it can't do your follow-up for you with buyers.
No.
But you can just touch base with the buyers and say, thanks for coming through. Mark will contact you this
Yeah,
afternoon, sort of thing.
I agree.
Hey,
And look,
Mo.
people want to know. People want to know. You're like the mayor. You're like the mayor on the streets there, Mark. People
Yeah,
want to know that they're actually dealing with a real person. As I said, it's a frustrating experience. You know, if you've called someone and you've gotten someone and you know it's a call center, or you know it's something that's robotic, you're like, oh my god, this is going to be excruciating. Like, if you've
sucks.
ever called Telstra before,
Oh,
you will know
it's
exactly what I'm talking about.
it's the word. Telstra there. They are. I,
Mark,
I, I, I lose my shit every 3 years, as in lose it, and it's always on the call with Telstra.
yeah,
Always.
you know, it's a frustrating experience. I think,
Embarrassing.
for us as a business, we try to stay as non-automated as possible.
Yeah,
Although it is no doubt it's going to be a whole lot more dollar productive, but I think you've got to ask yourself, is that more about you or is that more about what the customers want? Because if
yep,
you ask the people, and I'm all about ask the people what they want because they're the ones that they're the customers. You know, there lies all the answers, right? We're in a people business, Jeff. It's so true. You know, Mark, we built
but
our
you know,
headquarters. We built our headquarters, what, 5, 6 years ago now.
we got to
Phenomenal
start
office
feeding people
space.
again. Yeah,
Yeah, well, we kind of had to stop with all the COVID stuff. But the reason that we built, you know, such an amazing office, you know, with the antipasto bar and, you know, just extraordinary office, was because there's not enough of this human interaction. Everything's going so digital.
yeah.
And we've got to make sure, guys, that we just don't lose touch of that.
You've
We've
at
just
least,
got to make sure.
um, we've been dealing with a lot of agents from all over Sydney at the moment, some big names,
Yeah.
and the people, and a good mate of mine just sold his place, and that's what I'm having breakfast with this morning and chatting with. Um, the thing that I was most surprised with, the agents that were the most weapons that he told me about. I think was it Alex Panzer, Philip Panzer, whatever. And this guy,
Alexander Phillips, you're
Alexander
in
Philip,
his wood there. You're
I'm
in
in
his
his
wood
hood,
there, Mark.
and he was saying, he was like, this guy is probably the biggest writer in Australia for real estate agents, and he was saying the guy calls him all the time, and I'm like, how
How
can the
how
yeah,
amazing.
how can the biggest writer in the country be on the phone to you all the time? He goes, I don't know. He's really good. He updates me with new
So
properties coming on. We have a chat, and I'm like, whoa. And it
yeah,
goes back to that
yeah,
robot thing that you're talking about.
yeah. So Mark, we talked last week. We're buying ourselves at the moment, and I can tell you now, I don't think there's a single agent that's followed up on, you know, coming forth with properties. Not a single agent. So, you know, it's been quite an interesting experience. But just on that, with Alex Phillips, I remember once we were doing a conference together, and we were walking back to the car park, and I hopped into my car and he hopped into his BMW with his limo driver. And I remember thinking to myself, really? Like, what have you got someone who drives you around in your limo for? And I'd mentioned it to someone, and they said to me, you know why? The guy's a weapon. He sits in the back seat of his car. He outsources the driving, and he's probably driving 7 hours every day, going to and from appointments. And he just outsources that. So all he can do, all he's got to do is sit on the phone. And I thought, you know what? That good on him. That's genius. If you can outsource that kind of stuff and it makes you more focused and dollar productive, so you
Yep.
can service people like our friend Ed, good luck to you.
You know what? You probably
Genius.
get double the calls out, realistically, you know, because like,
Yeah,
you know, worrying about stuff. But anyway,
absolutely genius.
Friday, Frenzy, anything else we want to talk
Can,
about?
yeah, can I talk? Sorry, my eyes are running. I don't know why. Can I talk about TikTok for a sec?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be really kind. So I don't use TikTok a whole lot. I remember when I first started posting on there, our kids were like, "Mum, listen, you know, you're not a TikToker." And I was like, "Okay, but it's just a really good platform, and let's give it a
It's
go."
gone
Anyway, so
bananas. It's gone bananas.
it's gone
Number one in
TikTok
the
and
world.
Reels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Number one in the world. Yep. But it's the number
TikTok and
one
Reels.
website and app in the world at the moment. Apparently.
It's crazy. So I had posted something late last year on TikTok, and I can I mention names, Mark, or I'm not allowed?
Sure.
So I got an email from Fair Trading,
Yeah,
and I had posted a promo video that I had made.
called customer service.
Yeah, it was
Customer service
around early.
from Fair Trading.
They were really nice, I have to say.
Yeah,
Anyway, it was an email to say, could you please provide us with the documentation of the property that you had filmed on your TikTok in December, where you had gone and signed up a listing. And I said to the girl, oh, okay, like thinking, gosh, I think I've used TikTok like 5 times in my whole life, but okay. Anyway, supplied her with all the documentation and it was all fine. But here's the lesson. So I had already signed that property like weeks ago, had a contract of sale, of course, and was actually just doing a mock-up because I was doing a promo video. So like an actor, we'd gone back to actually do the promo video, but they somehow clicked me there and said, oh, you were signing it up and you were filming inside the property and named the
and
property,
for
and now we
people that
want the
don't know,
docs.
you cannot promote in any capacity a property, whether it's on social media or realestate.com at all, unless you have the customer signed up and you have a draft contract drawn up with a lawyer. A lot of agents make the mistake, consumers don't know. But often people get the shit because the agent says, I've got something coming on. And they say, can you give me the address? And the agent says, no. That's why the agent says no, because they don't want to get themselves in trouble with fair trading.
Yeah.
Fair trading is the policing body for that.
Correct. And absolutely, I had all the docs. But, here's the thing with your social media and stuff like that. You've just got to be super cautious. Make sure you've got all those docs in place because, it is really, really important, as Mark said, to make sure that you do have that agreement and that contract of sale, which, of course, I did. But it was just interesting. I thought, wow, they're on TikTok.
They're watching. And I think other people sort of complain and stuff like that, so it happens. I also had a love call from Fair Trading this week as well. We had 3 of them this week. I had them for.
Not funny. It's not funny. It's not fun. It's not fun when you do.
Well, I spoke to a friend and they said, "Oh, that's customer service from the government," and I was like, "What do you mean?" They said, "That's their version of customer service," and I was like, "Oh," I laughed. But yeah, mine was putting a contract. Where's my contract? And I'm like, don't have to have a contract. They're like, why? I said, because it's commercial. Residential property, you have to have a draft contract. Commercial property, you don't have to have a draft contract. She said, can you send me the zoning for the property then? And I said, sure. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But yes, they are the governing body to make sure that, they're the police for real estate. Just to make sure that everyone is doing everything correctly. I tell you what, be a tough job. It would certainly be a tough job. You're dealing with a whole bunch of real estate agents, negotiators.
Yeah.
They really are.
They are fair.
They are not, guys, fair. Don't get us wrong. Touch wood, we don't get contacted that often. It's just been twice this week, but all is good. All is good. We were able to provide them with all the correct docs, which was great.
Absolutely.
And everyone's happy. Mark, what are we doing there? You're quite restless.
I'm going back to the coffee shop. I'm walking. It's raining as well. Look at this place. Look at it. Look how cool. They've made an old place. They've painted black.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. For everyone that's wondering where Mark is, he's in the streets of Bronte. He's gone to visit a family friend.
There's my buddies in there. Look, they're over there. Just see Damo and Ed. I've been having brekkie with them for 12 years now. Every Friday morning.
Take the camera to them. They're going to love
Damon's rushing over. Look, I know.
Yeah, we're going to put our buddies. We're going to put our buddies on live. So these are two of our oldest friends.
It's like this little coffee shop.
Two of our oldest friends, Mark, in age and in years of friendship.
Hey?
I said in age and in years of friendship, 2 of our oldest friends.
Here they are, look.
There's the boys. There's Ed.
Hi there.
There's Mr. Staff. Mr. Staff. How are you guys?
So they do it in Bronte.
How fun. Will you guys enjoy your Friday brekkie?
Yeah. What was that?
Enjoy your Friday brekkie. Enjoy your Friday breakfast.
Thank you, Lisa. The coffee machine is just so noisy. I've got to go.
All right, guys. Have fun. Enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great day.